Of the NFL draft for the Jaguars presented by Dream Finders Homes. The Jaguars have a pick in the second round, 48th overall. It's Maason Smith, defensive tackle from LSU and Houma, Louisiana. And welcome into our coverage. JP Shadrick, Brian Sexton, John Oehser, Kai Stevens standing by. And, hey, a defensive tackle now in this second round. There was the cornerback run early in this second round. The Jaguars did not move up. We don't know yet if they tried to move up. Either way, they got a big fella and another LSU Tiger. We're going to have etouffee, I think, for lunch tomorrow, guys.
I like etouffee. Let's go.
Yeah. But another big body. We talked about you need size on both lines. This fits the bill.
Listen, this is a guy, I feel like I'm reading Jeffrey Simmons' bio from a few years ago. He got injured against Mississippi State, and the Titans took him in the first round regardless. And he came out, and he's had a tremendous career a couple of times. He's been to the Pro Bowl, All-Pro. This is a guy, right? You read the same thing. Wants to be great, looked like a pro player. The first day he showed up, he injured his knee in 2022 and didn't look the same in 2023. So, John, it looks to me like the Jaguars have an opportunity with a 6'6", 315-pound guy to try to catch lightning in a bottle and see if they can't get him back to where he was, which was a dynamic player at Tiger Stadium.
Yeah, look, the narrative is going to be, why didn't they take a corner? I have no problem if somebody's the best player on the board and he's a defensive tackle and he's potentially dominant. We have just watched too many teams around here not be stout enough on both sides of the line. And I said leading up to the draft, if they get better on the two lines, they're fine. This kid sounds like a guy who makes them stouter in the middle. It's clearly a value pick because need pick was corner. I'm fine with that.
Let's get into the mindset of the Jaguars decision makers. Ethan Waugh, the assistant GM, standing by with Kai Stevens. Kai?
Thanks, JP. Ethan, we wanted to check in, see what the mindset was in there. We saw a run on corners before you guys were picking. Was this a matter of this was the best player on the board when you went with Mason's?
Yes. Yeah. So he was the best player on the board and also fits a need for us. With Coach Nielsen coming here, we're looking for a jumbo-sized defensive lineman with great length that can play really physical, and he fits the bill for us.
We saw him listed at 6'6", 315. This is a big guy. Yes. We need that on the line. He was injured. We seeing him work back. Is this something where you feel like when you get him in the building, you can get more out of him?
Yes, absolutely. I think as you watch the tape from this past season, early in the season, he was still kind of recovering from that knee injury, but each week the tape got better and better. And it also helps that we have his defensive coordinator from college, Matt House, here in the staff room as well, that can really speak to his ability and his character.
Another LSU Tiger. You just mentioned you were able to see him at the Combine. Did that help solidify things for you and kind of keep him at front of mind?
Yes, absolutely. I think when we get those players in front of the staff at the Combine, it's a great opportunity for us to learn a lot more about them. Again, like you said, keep them in the forefront of our minds, and hopefully kind of get them placed properly for draft day.
As of now, we have one more pick today. Are seeing a lot of movement elsewhere. Is that something you guys are looking at?
Yes, absolutely. So like we said before, we have a little bit of ammunition to move up if necessary, and then fielding calls from all across the league, kind of whether to move up or down, and we'll see how it goes.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Ethan Waugh with Kai Stevens just down the hall in the team room here at the Miller Electric Center. And Brian, you mentioned it. He injured his knee in the first game against Florida State a couple years ago, and it was celebrating another teammate's play. He jumped up in the air and then came down awkwardly and tore the ACL, missed that entire season, worked his way back. But they had, in his time at LSU, 6 different defensive line coaches in the 3 years he was there. That's a lot of change. So he was thinking about sticking around, it sounds like, in Baton Rouge. But with all this change and yet another change there, okay, you know what? It's probably time to go and declare early.
Well, and Ethan just gave us the clue. I mean, it appears they weren't looking at other positions at this point. This is a guy who has the size and the length for Ryan Nielsen's scheme. He's about as big as Eric Armstead is, right? As Roy Robertson Harris is. They are looking up front to create pressure in the middle, right? So that the outside guys have an even greater opportunity to get to the quarterback and cause havoc.
Yeah, I'll speak to the people who were saying corner, corner, corner. And I was one of them. I thought they'd go corner in round 1. I thought they'd go in round 2. Think back to the end of last season when you couldn't get off the field.
Yeah.
And other teams could run on you when they needed to run.
Derrick Henry had 139 yards.
Armstead, this kid, front line premium equity in the defensive line. If they can't run and they can't get the passes off, then that's a long way to go in playing defense. So he said it. Ryan Nielsen, this is the kind of player.
Yep.
At some point during the draft, we were going to start seeing what this defense was about based on who they were picking. And I think we just saw the first clue of the weekend.
Yeah, defensive line, never a bad choice. With hey, bigger the dog, the harder the bite, right? And you need that kind of girth up front.
Yeah, let me just throw a name out there. And we talked about him briefly last year before he got hurt. But Christian Braswell, the corner from Rutgers, is a guy that the Jaguars drafted last season that they were really high on before he got hurt. So it's not like they don't have guys that are going to compete, right? It's not like the cupboard is completely bare. Do they have that elite young corner opposite Tyson? No, they don't have that guy yet. But they've got guys that they can go to battle with on Sunday afternoons if they don't find one on draft day.
Here's my approach, JP. I'm going to keep swinging. I think corner's the next pick. But I've said that twice so far. Eventually, I'm going to be right.
Maybe. And it sounds like, I mean, from Ethan Waugh, just hearing his conversation there with Kai, okay, they have the ammunition. He said it twice to move up. So at some point, maybe it'll be true today.
Well, they put their grade on guys based on what the defensive coordinator wants. And we've been told that this guy plays press man coverage. So it's not like every good corner necessarily fits what they do. They're looking for guys that do what they do, press man coverage.
Let's take a look at what is remaining for the Jaguars in the 2024 NFL Draft. Well, they've done work already. They've gone to Baton Rouge a good bit this year, it looks like. Brian Thomas Jr., of course, in the first round last night. Maason Smith, defensive tackle, comes from the Tigers. And then later today in the third round, 96th overall, 2 picks in round 4 tomorrow, 2 picks in round 5 tomorrow, a 6th rounder and a 7th rounder. That'll do it for our coverage for now. Check out Jaguars.com and Jaguars social media and Jags YouTube for the latest. We'll pop in live with the Maason Smith coverage, everything that comes after each and every draft pick. But the Jaguars have the pick in round number 2, 48th overall. It's LSU defensive tackle Maason Smith, and day 2 coverage of the draft on Jaguars.com presented by Dream Finders Homes.